Marcus Aurelius is remembered today as a philosopher, a warrior, and one of the last truly great emperors Rome would ever know. But behind the marble statues and famous quotes lies something far more human. A man carrying the weight of an empire, fighting battles on every front, including within himself. His story begins long before he became emperor. From childhood, Marcus Aurelius was different from other Roman nobles. He preferred silence to spectacle, books to banquets, and deep reflection over political games. Even as a boy, he dressed plainly, slept on a simple bed, and practiced discipline that astonished his tutors. Hadrian noticed him early, calling him Verissimus, the most truthful. He sensed in this quiet child a potential no other emperor had possessed. A philosophical mind capable of ruling with wisdom. When Antoninus Pius adopted Marcus, everything changed. Marcus immersed himself in law, philosophy, politics, and the responsibilities of empire. He was trained not just to rule, but to understand. Not just to command, but to think. Under Antoninus, Marcus learned patience, balance, and restraint. But philosophy alone could not prepare him for what came next. When Antoninus Pius died, Marcus ascended to the throne, and with him, Lucius Verus, his adoptive brother, becoming co-emperor. On paper, this was unity. In reality, Marcus soon discovered that ruling Rome required far more than wisdom and good intentions. Almost immediately, the empire was struck by war. The Parthians launched a brutal campaign in the east, forcing Lucius Verus to lead the counterattack. Marcus stayed in Rome, managing the bureaucracy, calming the Senate, and keeping supply lines stable. It was a burden that demanded constant attention, and Marcus bore it without complaint. But victory came at a horrific cost. Lucius Verus returned from the east with triumph, and with a devastating plague swept across the empire, the Antonine Plague, killing millions. Soldiers, merchants, farmers, even entire families vanished in months. Rome's streets fell silent. Temples filled with the dying. Entire legions were weakened. Marcus Aurelius faced a catastrophe no emperor before him had ever endured. Yet, through the chaos, Marcus remained steady. He funded medical relief, supported orphan children, and worked tirelessly to stabilize the economy. Even as disease ravaged the empire, he didn't fall into despair. His writings from this period, later known as Meditations, reveal the thoughts of a man fighting to stay calm in a world collapsing around him. But the plague was only the beginning. Barbarian tribes sensed Rome's weakness along the northern frontier. The Marcomanni and other Germanic nations launched a massive invasion. Villages burned. Legions were overwhelmed. The northern provinces screamed for help. Marcus had no choice but to lead the armies himself. And so the philosopher became a warrior. Clad in armor instead of a toga, Marcus marched with his soldiers through freezing winters and endless battles. He slept in tents, ate the same rations as his men, and wrote philosophical reflections by candlelight. While the sounds of war echoed beyond the camp walls, the soldiers loved him for it. He was not just a leader, he was one of them. During these campaigns, Marcus showed a depth of mercy rarely seen in him. He offered peace to tribes that surrendered and punished with restraint those who rebelled. He understood that victory won through cruelty breeds only future enemies. But make no mistake, he was ruthless when necessary. He fought war after war, year after year, determined to secure Rome's borders. It was a struggle that consumed much of his life. Meanwhile, tragedy struck again. Lucius Verus died suddenly, leaving Marcus to rule alone. Later, Marcus's beloved wife Faustina passed away, shattering the emotional foundation he had relied on since youth. Loss after loss began to shape his writings. Not philosophy in classrooms, but philosophy forged in suffering. Through grief, plague, and war, Marcus remained committed to his principles. He believed a ruler's power was meaningless unless used for the good of others. He rejected luxury, rejected tyranny, rejected cruelty. Perhaps no emperor in Roman history held such deep moral integrity. But even Marcus Aurelius was not free from error. His greatest mistake would come near the end of his life, the decision to place the future of Rome in the hands of his biological son, Commodus. Unlike his father, Commodus desired pleasure, not wisdom, comfort, not discipline, Power, not responsibility. Marcus knew his son lacked the qualities Rome needed, yet he could not bring himself to break the ancient tradition of bloodline succession. With this choice, the golden age of the 5 good emperors would come to an end. As Marcus's health declined, he continued fighting on the northern frontier, his body weakening but his resolve unbroken. Surrounded by loyal generals, he faced his final days with the same calm he had preached throughout his life. When he died, his soldiers mourned deeply. They had lost not just an emperor, but a father. Marcus Aurelius left behind a legacy of wisdom, courage, and humility. His writings still inspire millions today, not because he was perfect, but because he struggled, failed, endured, and kept going. A man ruling the world, yet constantly reminding himself to remain human. With Marcus dead, Rome would now face the unpredictable reign of Commodus and the long descent into darkness. Part 13 continues the story. Commodus, the mad son who destroyed Rome's golden age.